The Nightly Business Report.
Good evening. Tonight, according to the most recent data from the Department of Census and Statistics, the Colombo Consumer Price Index indicated an inflation rate of -0.7% year-over-year in May, up from -2.0% in April. Sri Lanka wants to increase film tourism in response to growing demand worldwide, but in order to compete globally, it needs to update its infrastructure and technology. The SPI and S&P SL20 saw minor gains throughout the day, and Sri Lanka's stock market ended the day higher. Active turnover and a higher share volume during trading indicate consistent investor interest. And after President Trump accused China of breaking a recent trade agreement, which Beijing rejected, most Asian stocks fell as concerns about a potential escalation of the US-China trade war grew. Good evening and thank you for joining us. The Colombo Consumer Price Index showed an inflation rate of 0.7% year-on-year in May, up from -2.0% in April, according to the latest data from the Department of Census and Statistics.
The Colombo Consumer Price Index revealed a year-on-year inflation rate of 0.7% in May, rising from -2.0% in April, according to the Department of Census and Statistics. This indicates a slight increase in inflation, although it remains negative territory. The food group experienced a notable rise in inflation, climbing to 5.2% in May from 1.3% in April. This surge suggests rising prices in essential food items impacting consumers. Despite the overall inflation rate being negative, the increase in food prices point uneven inflationary pressures across sectors. The data reflects ongoing economic challenges and shifting cost dynamics within the country. Policymakers will likely monitor these trends closely as they access economic stability and consumer affordability.
Port City Colombo recently commemorated the formal handover of the office space to key anchor tenants at a special ceremony. The event was attended by prominent dignitaries including senior leaders from China Communications Construction Group and China Harbour Engineering Company. The business center, which broke ground in March 2024, is a premier IT and business park featuring 9 office buildings with dedicated IT and commercial hubs. Approximately 80% of the office space has been leased to authorized tenants registered under the Colombo Port City Special Economic Zone. This milestone marks the start of operational commercial activity within the zone and highlights strengthened investor confidence in the region. The development reflects a significant $5 million foreign direct investment by CHEC and supports Port City Colombo's vision to become a leading hub for business, innovation and economic growth in South Asia. Sri Lanka aims to boost film tourism amid rising global demand, but needs infrastructure and technology upgrades to compete internationally, says SLTBP's Chaminda Munasinghe.
Sri Lanka is leveraging its natural beauty to attract film tourism with recent projects including South Indian films and Oscar-nominated director Deepa Mehta's upcoming movie Shah. Despite the country's scenic landscapes, Assistant Director Chaminda Munasinghe highlighted the need for better infrastructure and technology to compete internationally. Discussions are ongoing with the National Film Corporation to formalize collaboration through a Memorandum of Understanding. Munasinghe emphasized the importance of treating international film production as an industry with proper registration incentives and technological support. The Sri Lankan Tourism Promotion Bureau is actively promoting the country as a film destination, particularly targeting India and Europe. Efforts include participation in international film location events over the past 5 to 6 years. A strategic plan is being developed to ensure Sri Lanka gains recognition as a competitive film tourism hub.
Sri Lanka has completed all necessary steps to launch Starlink satellite internet services pending receipt of required dashboards from the company. Deputy Minister Eranga Weeraratne confirmed the readiness during a high-level meeting in Singapore with US Ambassador Steve Lang. The government is prepared to commence operations immediately once the technical details are finalized. Previously, the launch was delayed due to unresolved technical issues in the agreement between Sri Lanka and Starlink. The project received official approval from the Telecommunications Regulatory Commission of Sri Lanka in August 2024. This development marks a significant step toward expanding internet connectivity across the island. Let's take a short break now. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. Sri Lanka's stock market closed higher today, with the ASP and S&P SL20 gaining modestly. Ratings saw strong share volume and active turnover, reflecting steady investor interest market. Sentiment remains cautiously optimistic amid ongoing economic developments. For further insights, we speak with Manusha Kandanarachi from First Capital Holdings.
Thanks, Prashansa. Building on the previous week's trend, the Colombo stock market maintained its upward momentum, fueled by strong retail investor participation and heightened interest in banking and construction sector stocks. The index maintained its upward momentum throughout the trading day, ultimately closing at 16,980 with a gain of 125 points as well. Sampath Bank, DSCC Bank, NDB Bank, Access Engineering and HNB banks were the leading positive contributors, driving the index higher today. In terms of today's turnover, amidst multiple crossings, today's turnover stood at 5.8 billion rupees, showing a small incline from previous days 5.2 billion level as well. However, this is still significantly higher than the monthly average turnover level, which stands at around 4 billion rupees. In terms of sector-wide contribution, the capital goods segment took the lead with a share of 30%. This was followed by the diversified financial sector and the banking sector, which produced a joint contribution of about 37% as well. Thank you.
The Colombo stock market is poised for modest gains today as investor confidence grows amid positive economic signals and stable corporate earnings forecasts. For further insights, we speak with Shahana Kanaganatnam from First Capital Holdings.
Thank you, Prashansa. The Colombo Stock Exchange has demonstrated strong positive sentiment over the past couple of weeks, supported by elevated turnover levels and healthy trading volumes. This week commenced with the ASPI gaining 125 points to close at 16,980, recording a turnover of nearly Rs 6 billion. Although there could be moderate volatility, the overall positive momentum is expected to remain throughout the week with higher turnover levels. Key contributing factors to this favorable market performance include robust quarterly earnings, the recent policy rate cuts, and an overall improvement in the country's economic outlook. However, the implementation of higher electricity tariffs as mandated under IMF recommendations, along with the anticipated approval of the fourth review of Sri Lanka's Extended Fund Facility Program, are developments that could influence overall market performance. Both retail and high net worth investors are anticipated to remain actively engaged in the market. Heightened activity is expected across the banking sector, diversified conglomerates, diversified financials, and construction-related entities throughout the week. Thank you.
Gold prices surged as escalating US-China trade tensions and uncertainty over President Donald Trump's tariff plans drove safe haven demand. Spot gold rose 0.8% to 3,315.68 cents an ounce, while August gold futures gained 0.7% to $3,338.52 per ounce. The broader metal market also benefited from a weaker dollar, following Federal Reserve Governor Christopher Waller's comments supporting potential interest rate cuts later this year. Oil prices surged nearly 3% today after OPEC Plus decided to maintain its July output increase at 411,000 barrels per day, consistent with the previous 2 months. Brent crude futures rose $1.74, reaching $64.52 per barrel, while US West Texas Intermediate crude gained $1.94, closing at $62.73. The producer group, comprising OPEC members and allies known as OPEC Plus, continues to raise output steadily as it seeks to regain market share and enforce production quotas amid amid members exceeding limits. Despite speculation of a larger increase during recent talks, the decision to keep the output rise steady was largely expected and already priced into the market. This marks the third consecutive monthly increase of 411,000 barrels per day. Traders view the move as a strategic effort by OPEC Plus to balance supply and demand while managing market dynamics. The Sri Lankan rupee showed a slight appreciation against the US dollar today compared to last Friday. According to the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, both the buying and selling rates of the US dollar have decreased. Meanwhile, the rupee remained largely steady against a basket of Gulf currencies. Here's a closer look at how the Sri Lankan rupee performed against key global currencies today. Break now. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back. Millennium IT ESP, Cisco and Inflow Technologies hosted Trust Protect Secure at Cinnamon Live, showcasing advanced cybersecurity solutions for Sri Lanka's BFSI sector. The event gathered top IT leaders to explore Cisco's latest innovations in digital security.
Nearly 40 professionals from Sri Lanka's BFSI sector attended the Trust Protect Secure event hosted by Millennium IT ESP, Cisco and Inflow Technologies at Cinnamon Life. The session highlighted Cisco's integrated cybersecurity platforms, including email security, secure access and secure networking, through live demos and technical discussions. Sridharan Govindaraj, the Associate VP at Millennium IT ESP, opened the event by emphasizing the strategic importance of cybersecurity. Cisco's regional leader, Ashish Sud, delivered the keynote virtually, addressing evolving cyber threats and Cisco's vision. Millennium IT ESP CEO Shivan Gunatilaka stressed the need for strong security practices to maintain trust and continuity in the BFSI sector. Inflow Technologies country manager Nilanthi Fernando highlighted the importance of making cutting-edge solutions accessible. The event underscored the vital role of collaboration in building resilient, future-ready cyber defenses for Sri Lanka's financial institutions.
HNB PLC has launched TXB TradeX, a next-generation digital trade finance platform developed in partnership with Ifniti Global. The platform enhances HNB's existing T/B suite by offering seamless 24/7 access to trade finance services, including letters of credit,
shipping guarantees and bill processing. T/B TradeX aims to simplify and digitalize trade documentation approval processes, boosting speed, visibility and efficiency for Sri Lankan businesses. HNB's CEO Damit Pallewatha emphasized that this digital innovation addresses critical bottlenecks and supports the country's economic growth. Powered by Finastra technology and implemented locally by Ifniti, the platform supports a wide range of clients from large corporations to SMEs. This launch marks a significant step in HNB's commitment to digital transformation and strengthening Sri Lanka's financial infrastructure.
CEAT OHT Lanka has reassured its employees of continued job security following its recent acquisition, emphasizing a smooth transition and prioritizing staff well-being.
CEAT OHT Lanka Private Limited has reaffirmed its commitment to employee job security following the acquisition of Michelin Lanka's off-highway construction equipment bias tyre and tracks business. The acquisition, announced in December of last year by CEAT Limited, includes the Midigama plant, casting product division in Kotugoda and parts of other central service divisions. A tripartite memorandum of understanding was signed on the 22nd of May this year with CEAT OHT Lanka, Michelin Lanka and the Intercompany Employees Union. The agreement guarantees 100% job security, preservation of past service, seniority, remuneration and benefits for all affected employees. CEAT, present in over 120 120 countries, emphasizes employee well-being and workplace happiness as core values. The company has pledged full support and resources to ensure a smooth transition and future business growth. As a globally recognized brand, SIAT continues to lead in quality and innovation, proudly holding the Deming Grand Prize and World Economic Forum's Lighthouse designation.
DFCC Bank PLC represented Sri Lanka at the 48th ADFIAP annual meeting held at Muscat, Oman, showcasing leadership in digital transformation and regional collaboration.
The bank was honoured with a Merit Award for Human Capital Development, recognising its internal wellness initiatives under its sustainability framework. DFCC's fintech subsidiary Synapses formed a strategic partnership with ADFIAP Net to help member institutions upgrade legacy banking systems. A highlight of the event was the announcement that DFCC Bank will host the 49th ADFIAP annual meeting in Colombo, Sri Lanka in 2026. This major event will bring global development finance leaders to Sri Lanka, spotlighting the country's evolving financial sector. DFCC Bank continues to drive innovation, talent development, and sustainable progress within Sri Lanka and the region.
8 Spence PLC reported a strong EBITDA of 25.4 billion rupees, reflecting robust earnings before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization of the fiscal year.
Aitken Spence reported a 12.5% year-on-year growth in profit from operations, reaching 16.4 billion rupees for the year ended 31st March 2025. The tourism sector was the top contributor, accounting to 54.9% of the group's total contribution and recording a PBT of 6 billion rupees. The destination management segment maintained market leadership, representing 18% of Sri Lanka's total tourist arrivals, supported by growth in traditional and non-traditional markets. The maritime and freight logistics sector achieved a PBT of 4.6 billion rupees, with strong performances in cargo agency and container services. The strategic investment sector reported a loss of 36 million rupees, though this was significantly lower than the previous year's loss. The services sector posted a PBT of 326 million rupees, boosted by healthy returns from new BPO operations despite challenges in some segments. Overall, the group's profit before tax rose 61% year-on-year to 10.8 billion rupees, aided by 29.3% declines in net finance costs.
Dialogue Asiata PLC and the National Aquatic Resources Research and Development Agency have partnered to deliver potential fishing zone information through the Sairu mobile app.
Used by over 110,000 fishermen, now provides real-time location-specific data to help locate productive fishing areas and improve catch efficiency. This initiative aims to enhance safety, sustainability and productivity within Sri Lanka's fishing industry. The PFEZ feature uses satellite and oceanographic data to guide fishermen to the best tuna fishing grounds, reducing fuel consumption and operational costs. Dialogue offers this service free of charge, supporting inclusive access for all fishing communities. Both organizations are committed to promoting sustainable fishing practices and preserving Sri Lanka's maritime ecosystems.
Let's take a short commercial break. Global business updates coming on the other side. This is the Nightly Business Report. Welcome back to the Nightly Business Report. Most Asian stocks declined amid rising fears of US-China trade war escalation after President Trump accused China of breaching a recent trade deal, which Beijing denied. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index dropped 2.3%, hurt by major automaker losses and concerns over a worsening price war in the sector.
Japan Nikkei's 225 fell 1.5%, weighed down by a stronger yen, while the topic slipped 1%. Australia's ASX 200 and Singapore's Straits Times Index fell 0.2% and 0.4% respectively. India's Nifty 50 futures dropped 0.3%, suggesting a weak start to the day. However, India's strong GDP data for the March quarter is expected to limit losses in its stock market.
Japan's factory decline is slowing. As per the closely watched Purchasing Managers Index, manufacturing rose to 49.4 in May, just below the key 50-point mark that would indicate rising activity.
Japan's factory decline is at least slowing. Monday's closely watched Purchasing Managers Index for manufacturing rose to 49.4 in May. That's just below the key 50-point mark that would indicate rising activity. But the figure was up on preliminary estimates and the highest so far this year. Survey compiler S&P Global Market Intelligence said the numbers pointed to improved jobs growth and a softer decline in sales. But there's one big looming worry. A sub-index for new orders fell for a 24th straight month, with manufacturers citing concern over US tariffs. Donald Trump's trade policies have hit sectors including cars that are the backbone of Japan's economy. In response, Tokyo has held 4 rounds of talks with Washington over a deal. Policymakers also plan a fiscal package to support households and businesses. Monday did see some hopeful data. Inflation pressures eased and employment gained for a 6th month. Business confidence also rose, with strong demand for semiconductors seen among the positives in the months ahead.
Volkswagen is holding fair and constructive talks with the US government on tariffs and wants to make further investments in the country.
Volkswagen is in, quote, constructive talks on tariffs with the US government and wants to make, quote, massive investments in the country. Several foreign companies have announced new US investments in response to President Donald Trump's import tariffs. Trump's trade war has cost companies more than $34 billion in lost sales and higher costs, according to a Reuters analysis of corporate disclosures, with companies pursuing various strategies to cope. But German car makers have been more cautious about further committing to their biggest export market. Sources told Reuters earlier this week that several of them, including VW, had been in US tariff talks, using exports and investments as leverage to soften a potential blow. Volkswagen's Audi brand, which has no production in the US, is planning to produce some models there, although it's said that this plan predated the Trump administration. And Bloom said Volkswagen, which also owns the Porsche brand, has a growth strategy in the US. It wants to build on the 20,000 plus people directly employed in the US and over 55,000 people indirectly employed there. He could not, however, give a timeline for a deal.
That wraps up today's Nightly Business Report. We value your opinion. Share your thoughts and feedback with us through email at feedbackad24english@derana.lk or via WhatsApp at 076-805-7933. We will see you again tomorrow with the latest updates in the business globe. Until then, I'm Prashansa Gunawardena. Thank you for watching and have a good night.